I want to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books that radically changed my music teaching business, helped me build a music school to up to 2,000 students, 7 figures and all sorts of crazy stuff. These 9 books, you don't have to read them all, but there might be one that jumps out and you're like, oh, that is affecting my situation right now. I should check that out. So let's get into it. Now, before I reveal the first book and go through these 9 really quickly, I just want to tell you that there was never a book that actually showed me exactly how to build a successful music school from zero to hero. And so if you stay to the end, I'll show you exactly what I would do now if I had to go back and build my music school again from 0 to 2,000, or if I didn't want to do 2,000, just wanted to get to 300, I'll show you exactly what I would do. But these books, these 9 that I've picked, are some of the ones that made the biggest impact. So none of them spoke directly to how to build a successful music school, but these ones were super helpful. So let's get into it. The first one you might have heard from a very famous book, The EMyth Revisited, and subtitle is Why Most Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. Big thing I got from this book was the importance of systems and systematizing your business so that it can run without you. And so that's a big goal, is like, can you get your business to run not only without you, but to grow without you? This is an amazing book. This is one I think is actually a must read if you are a kind of junior, intermediate level business owner. That will change your life. Next one, How the Mighty Fall by Jim Collins. Jim Collins is one of my favorite business authors, if not the favorite. And every book that he writes is usually backed with 10 to 20 years of research into companies. This one talks about how, why some companies never give in. And he compares companies that did really well and grew and other companies that crashed and burned. And he talks about a cycle that all the companies went through in their research that they could see. And a lot of it, starts with, I've actually opened randomly to the right page of the graph. So let me read it to you actually. So he talks about, like, stage 1, people are kind of born for success. They're starting to grow. Stage 2, people have this undisciplined pursuit of more. They just want more, just want to grow, but it's undisciplined. And then at the top of that, stage 3 is denial of risk and peril, failure. They're like, no, this is going great, it's going to be fine. And they get arrogant and cocky because they've had some success, but it's been totally undisciplined. So that's the 3rd stage. And then they start going down. You can see here in stage 4, you zoom in on that, and what does he call that stage? He calls it grasping for salvation. They're like, save us, come on, like, how do we figure this out? And then stage 5 is like, you're dead, and he calls it capitulation to irrelevance. So that's the 5 stages there, and he walks you through all these companies that go through these stages and shows you the records. And although they're big companies, things that you and I are never going to build, all the lessons are the same for small business as well. That is these 2 are in my top 5 like must reads. They're so good and will help you with your discipline. Next one, Patrick Lencioni. He's written lots of books. Both my wife and I absolutely love this author. I think this is probably her favorite business author. This one here, The Truth About Employee Engagement, talks about what really matters when you hire people and how to keep people excited and wanting to work for you, and they're actually engaged and want to be there, want to do a great job. And that is huge for if you're starting to build a team, even if it's just your first team member, 2nd, 5th, 50th. That book is amazing. Next one, Mike Michalowicz. He's a really great small business author. I think he's got an accounting background, so he talks a lot about the money stuff. I think there's another book. Oh no, it's on another bookshelf. I've got a few of his books. He's really great. Profit first is the idea that you need to pay yourself first. You need to set aside some profit so that you don't just end up giving everything away. And again, being disciplined to make sure the business is profitable. Because if like Warren Buffett says, here's my dog. Hello, Alto. You want to say hi to the camera? This is Alto. He's very excited. Oh, and this is Zildjian. Thanks for coming in mid shot, guys. That's great. We'll carry on. But what was I saying? Warren Buffett has this quote where he says, "When the tide goes out, you can tell who was skinny dipping." And so it's the idea for profit first is like, if you don't set aside any profit, and then if you hit financial hardship, all the great stuff goes out. You're kind of left naked with nothing. So Profit First helps you make sure you set aside money to have some profit, because you're building a business, not a charity. And like on an airplane, you got to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help anyone else. If you die, you can't help anyone. If your business goes bust because it's got no profit, everyone loses their job, students lose the amazing lessons you do. You get the idea. A few more. Hope this is helpful. This here is The Best Leaders Don't Shout. Kind of a lame title, but how to engage your people, manage millennials, and get things done. Now, Bruce Cotterill, he is actually from New Zealand, where I live. What got me to buy this book was he took over a company that was, I believe, $750 million in debt. And so they were in a market that had changed. Everything was, they were in like the New Zealand post office. So, oh hey, he's back with a comb. Alto will just join us today. He's cut his leg. So he helped turn around this company that was going bust, and that was like such a crazy leadership moment. And he talks all about managing millennials, and that was hugely helpful for me as well. Do you want to hop down? I'll do the next one. Down. Good stuff. Next author, this is someone, I probably got 20 of his books, probably read 12 of them, but John Maxwell, his stuff all about leadership is really great. Pretty much you're building a business, you have to be a leader. And so that's the hardest thing, like you're always limited by yourself. And so developing the leaders around you, it was all about how to, not just have staff, but turn them into leaders. And that was crucial for us for going, from that 0 to 2,000 students. And we started with myself, and Nathan was the first team member I hired, and that grew up to 60 team members. And so this book really helped with developing the other staff into being leaders. Now, there are many other books that he's written that is great. The one other book that John Maxwell wrote that we had all of our managers read was called Developing the Leader Within You. And so that was an earlier book to this one, and people had to read that when they were stepping into being a manager and managing staff. So that might be something that you would want to get your some of your teachers or your managers or your office staff to read. Developing the Leader Within You by John Maxwell. Different book, but same author. That was a game changer for a lot of people. Okay, next one. There's actually a whole bunch of books written by Jim Collins. He's the guy that I mentioned earlier who wrote the How the Mighty Fall. Great by Choice is an amazing one. There's another one called Good to Great, and they're basically talking about like how a great company's built, like what are the things that they did right. Often in this one, the stories are like, what did they do wrong? These ones are like, what did they get right? And the research that goes into these books and the stories are incredible. And so yeah, again, like this would be my favorite business author, and you should read pretty much everything by Jim Collins, but start with Good to Great and Great by Choice. Those are the big ones. And then this one, and yeah, really watch out for any of those behavior, characteristics he's talking about, and watching out for whether you're making some of those same mistakes. Let me give you two more quickly, and these two are related, which is kind of cool. This one here is called Winning by Jack Welch. Now, if you don't know who Jack Welch is, he was the CEO of, at the time, the largest company with the most staff in the world. And that was GE, General Electric. And they built everything from microwaves to, airplanes to, plastics. Just like they did everything. And Jack Welch was the CEO at the time. I think they had 400 to 500,000 staff. And my business mentor through growing my music school, he told me to read this book. And so I've read a few of his books. This is definitely the best one. And the lessons he gives from being a CEO that could manage, 500,000 staff is crazy. And just one principle that I got from this that was really handy was he talked about at General Electric, they actually streamed their staff based on, hey, you're either in the top, top 10%, middle 70%, and bottom 20%. I think, or maybe it's bottom 10%, top 20, middle 70. And so staff actually knew, like, hey, you're in the middle. You're safe, but we need to try and get you to the top 20%. Or hey, you're in the top 20%, we're going to retain you and keep you and, give you bonuses and, really take care of you. or hey, you're in the bottom 10%. Either you need to sort right now to get up out of the danger zone, or basically every year they just got rid of that bottom 10%. And so that sounds really harsh and cutthroat, but that bottom 10% of people, so even if you have a school with, like 10 people, there's probably one person that's like the worst, and if you do remove the worst person, like if they're a problem, you actually lift the whole organization up, because the average of the caliber of the team member goes up every time you remove the weakest links. And so that was something that, people know as, lovely, kind Johnny. But yeah, I would get rid of, the lowest people. I wouldn't necessarily let them know that they're in that bottom 10%. You'd still have the conversations of like, hey, you need to work on this and this. And if they didn't move up to where they need to be, sorry, it's time to move on. And so there was, a lot of shuffling people around, because you're just trying to build a winning team. There you go. Anyway, so that's that book. It's a really interesting book with crazy stories. And then this one is the one I'm actually reading at the moment. You can see I'm kind of halfway through. And this is Jeffimmelt, who is actually the CEO that took over from Jack Welch. And his book it's probably not one I recommend you read first. Like, the other stuff is way more important. This is just because I love like business stories and read this for fun. I think it was like day 2 of him being on the job. 9/11 happened. The planes were flown into the World Trade Center, and I believe they were using planes that were built by GE. And so that was day 2 of his job, stepping into this scary role, and the World Trade Center, buildings collapse at 9/11. He's the CEO. It's his planes. They're involved in some other ways as well, and that's how the book starts. So an incredible read, and I just love reading people that are just like such a higher caliber than I'll ever be, because you're learning like how they think and what they do, and success leaves clues. And if you surround yourself by people of a real high caliber, it can't help but rub off on you. And so you can't actually get into a room with all these people and hang out and be in there in a circle of friend groups, but they do leave books and success tips that we can apply to our music teaching business. So there's about 9 books that were really helpful, and there's hundreds more. But let me tell you about the thing that I do differently, because you're not going to ever find a book which just gives you like everything you need to build a successful music school. So what we've done with Build a Music School, and I'll write a book and it will come out sometime soon, which will be the book, which will be the closest thing you can get to what we're describing. But in the meantime, at Build a Music School, I've taken every single lesson that I've learned and going from 0 to 2,000 students, every file, every creative asset, every resource, curriculum, a marketing campaign, spreadsheet tool, just like everything that's helped us go from here to here, and we've put it all in the library for you to access, and you can actually grab it free for 7 days. So you can come and take whatever you want for 7 days. That's obviously not the smart way to do it. The smart way is to know that this is a journey, and you want to be part of the BAM Squad, our Build a Music School community, for a longer time. But if you have a resource that you really need, and you're like, I just wish I could solve this problem, that library is the only place on earth where you're going to have the best shot at finding that tool. And the way that it works that's really cool, and unlike anything else on the planet, is that all the members, and as I film this, I think there's about 360 members in the private community, everyone's chipping in and helping with things. So it's not just everything that I learned in my journey, it's everyone sharing their best tools and resources. And so our team curates it. So let's say right now at the moment, there's a themed month on holiday programs or summer camps. So everyone is filming videos and stories, submitting their website pages, their best marketing campaigns, their best advert copy, the best games that they use at camps, the way they timetable camps, the way they price camps. Like, everything is coming in for that topic. Our team curates it all. You get to hear from me and my team that's done that well as well, but it's actually the whole group being able to give you the best resources to fast track that one thing. So if that's something you wanted to do or wanted to do better, you're able to look at that right now, see all that stuff, plug and play things, get the best ideas, and just go to the next level. And so that's how we approach it for everything in the library. And so just every week, every month, there's new stuff to help you, and you're just not going to find that stuff in a book. And a book's not going to actually go, oh, here's a template for that. Oh, here's a here's a spreadsheet, you can just plug that in. Oh, here's an advert campaign, or here's 50 advert campaigns that work. You're just not going to get it. So click the link down below, come check it out for free, and if you have any questions for the vlog as well, please ask them down below and we'll film you a video. Hope you enjoyed this. Go buy yourself a book, get reading.